Welcome to Cultivated Live for Monday, July 29th. My name is Jay Rosenthal. I'm the co-founder of Cultivated Media, the host of this program, Cultivated Live. And since we launched, our goal at Cultivated has been to be cannabis industry first, providing you with the most important, insightful, useful, and timely information on a daily basis. We do that through our daily newsletter, which we call Cultivated Daily. You can find it at cultivated.news. We do that through this daily live stream, which is Cultivated Live, which is delivered through LinkedIn and YouTube. So follow us and subscribe on those two channels. We would certainly appreciate it. And as you may know, those that follow closely, last week, or now it was almost 2 weeks ago, I took something called Cultivated Summer Road Trip through New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts to see what was happening throughout the Northeast when it comes to cannabis. I visited dispensaries, growers, processors, manufacturers, and advocates along the way, and I'm continuing to roll those conversations and tours out. Today, I wanted to share a conversation I had with Nick Guarino, the founder and CEO of Naturae. I visited Nick and the team at their facility in Hoosick Falls, New York. It was an impressive facility in Hoosick Falls, which I've actually driven by dozens of times in my travels, not knowing the incredible work that was happening on the inside. So enjoy this conversation with Nick Guarino, founder and CEO of Naturae. You'll notice some background noise because this job is really hard. I thought the best place to talk to him was in the gummy curing area at Naturae. So there's a little bit of chillers, a little bit of fans. You should be able to hear what Nick is talking about. You absolutely will. You'll see what I mean. So this is me and Nick in the gummy chilling, cooling facility in Naturae and Hoosick Falls. Hold tight.
We are in the curing room in Naturae's processing facility in Hoosick Falls.
How many gummies do you think we have behind us?
That's a good question. Each one of these racks has about 2,000 gummies, and we've got probably like a good 25,000 gummies or something like that back there. Yeah.
And that's a normal day, or like how long will this last you to package and get out the door?
Yeah, this is about like a day and a half roughly of gummies curing, and then these are getting packaged all day, and they'll just continue rotating that way. Through our nano, our fast-acting gummies from Jaunty, which we're super excited about. Those just launched like last week. And then here, I think gummies that the market's been familiar with for a while are Resonators hash gummies, which include like sour apple, which is fantastic.
I was joking that New Yorkers seem to love all things Apple.
Yes, yeah. Everything Apple does pretty well here. Yeah, yeah. As per your visit with Heirloom yesterday as well.
It's like a big Apple state. I love it. And
Yeah.
talk about sort of in the history of Naturae and of Jaunty. Like, how long does it take you to understand how many you need to produce on a daily basis to fill the market demand, to get out to dispensaries, and how has that changed over the past year as sort of New York has really ramped up dispensary openings?
That's a great question. Like at the beginning of the market, it was a total. You could really call it like Wild West. Like we would have one of the earlier stores putting POs in for like $1 million worth of gummies or vapes. We would say like, well, it's like physically impossible that they would move that. We're gonna have to forecast now. We're gonna make $1 million for a single store, but other stores are buying 10,000. This doesn't make sense because they were also struggling and learning and figuring out what their demand patterns were gonna be. Now that we're up to like 140 stores, and we've had many stores that we have over a year working relationship with, and they all talk to each other, and there's a much clearer understanding of like the product mix demand that and what you can expect consumers. Like, I don't know, within like 2 or 3 months of working with the store, we can very well gauge where demand is going to be there and what levers we can push to try to like push gummy demand and edibles and have like, you know, sample days every day with non-medicated gummies for everybody to try out. Or hey, we really want to push vapes in here and let's have demos about how our extraction process works and how our rosin vapes are top notch. So now with that in mind, like I would say we're like within a 10 to 20% plus or minus range in our production forecast. Every month we go with our sales team and just like estimate sales on each account line by line. And based on their historical product mixes, we send that to production and they make it. And so far it's worked. We just have to make adjustments like the last 2 weeks. the last 2 weeks of the month, because we're like forecasting 1 month ahead of time. So those last 2 weeks we'll say like what was real demand, and then we'll adjust production. Yeah, long story short, it's much easier now than it was then. Yeah.
And you expect it to continue to lead. It may be easier to predict in the future, but there will be another 140 stores.
Well, right. Yeah, it's like a non-stop. We just have a little bit of a better system for it, and we're less jarred by it, because it's sometimes what's also going to happen at the end of the month in this kind of a volatile market that's just opening up is like you go out of stock of something, and we've got 50 something SKUs. Maybe we go out of stock of like 1 or 2 each month for like a week period, which I think is a pretty good scorecard for how tough it's been. But the labs nowadays here in New York have a really good turnaround time. Like you can rush a sample like 3 to 5 days. So it's not like you're waiting 3 or 4 weeks if you have to adjust production forecasts, like it was at the beginning of the market as well, which was super concerning.
Yeah. Talk a bit about, because as we've taken a tour today, there's been, I think, and I'm calling it this, you didn't call it this, but like version 0.0, version like 1.0, and now it seems like a couple of the tours have been on whether it's dispensary or manufacturer processor. Let's call it 2.0, where it's like you understand the market, you understand where your brands and products are hitting, and you are doubling down and reinvesting in some of those lines. Like, talk a little bit about that sort of learning curve and what it means for your business to be not in a constant state of flux, but actually that learning curve to say, we're going to do away with this and double down on that because we know market demand, or we know the flavor profiles, or we know that this type of cartridge versus this type of cartridge. Like, talk a little bit about that, and like, that's a unique market challenge, and for a business like yours.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think putting it as a 2.0 is a good place, because now we've got over 100 stores in the market. There's sort of like semi-reliable, forecastable cash flow, and in our case, it's been like, where are we doing a great job? And now that the market has scaled to this point, like, how do we continue to do an even better job in our case with our brands, right? So like with 25 stores, it was one thing to have multiple brands and to have like 25 displays to have to deal with in each store, but once you get to scale and you have over 100 stores and you go to this sort of 2.0 model, I think the important things become like automation in the manufacturing, and then like scalability with the sales and marketing. And the only way for us that we can see to accomplish that has been to start consolidating our brands and product lines into like our winning line, Jaunty. And then in the manufacturing side, doubling down on Jaunty's edibles line, vapes line, everything that it's doing very well with, and not necessarily investing a ton on for example, expanding into pre-rolls or like expanding into flower, which would be, in our case, like a complete distraction. Like, our biggest investment right now, which will be over $1 million, is going to be into hydrocarbon extraction. Because we're focused on oil, we're a vape brand, we have edibles, and we want to be able to have that third oil type, right? You've got distillate, you would have live resin and live rosin to offer Jaunty consumers. Like, the idea is we're experts in extraction, and we're going to offer you the best expression of each one of these oil types at a great price. And we're going to stick to that in this kind of like 2.0 mode that we have to get into.
Talk a little bit about this facility that we're in right now. I don't know, square footage might not matter to people, but like, what are the types of things you do in this facility from soup to nuts?
Yeah, so it's an 8,000 square foot facility. So in the cannabis world, it's a relatively small facility. We're proud of that because we can output a lot from here. And so the first process that we do here, I would say that takes up like the most square footage in the facility and is the most intensive, is the actual extraction. So we'll take in raw material from our farms. We have our own farm, we have partner farms that will bring in either dry biomass, which we produce distillate with, or fresh frozen biomass, like that's frozen straight after harvest, and that's what we produce our hash with. We take that in, we test it, we clear it for heavy metals, for pesticides, for everything else, so it's of utmost quality raw material. We'll extract that, and then we get these ingredients, which is what we call them here, like these intermediary ingredients, hash, live rosin, distillate, soon by the end of this year, live resin and cured resin, and then we manufacture the host of categories of products that come with that. that we're good at, right? So we'll manufacture edibles, as you guys can see, right? We do pectin-based edibles. They're our favorite texture. Like our whole team just loves pectin-based edibles, and they're very easy to work with. And then we'll manufacture vapes and manufacture concentrates. So the vape manufacturing is done with an automated vape filler, and there's a lot of work that goes into prepping the oil to get it there. But then once it gets into the vape filler, that machine does a fantastic job. And then finally, the concentrates we're still actually packaging by hand and gramming out by hand. We haven't found a machine yet that can actually gram them out and not affect the terp quality because they all use heat. And so we just take them straight out of the fridge and hand gram them and bring that to the market. And then of course we've got Jumbo Dose, our tinctures, which are a product that we've done as a company for like the past 6 years. I think we lived off of tinctures for some time. So it's close to our heart, and we still use our old school little mechanical tincture filler for that. But really, I think we cover like 45 or 46% of the whole market with those products, because we really don't do anything with lotions. We don't really have beverages. So we're missing like a couple of smaller oil-based categories, but we're really just like trying to do the 80-20 rule, and like what's gonna be 20% that has 80% of the impact in the market. It's what we've done for years. It's what we're good at. So yeah, we're good at extraction and the facility we got in 2018, and we were very lucky to be able to buy it then. We still own it outright now, and we've invested over the years like $200,000 or $300,000 into the facility, and I think we've been able to come up with a really fantastic return considering what we're able to pump out of it now. We could do up to $5 million a month, and that product mix that I was just talking about now.
And how many people work in this facility?
Right now, physically in here, there's like 27, and then the company in total have 37 because we've got our sales team and marketing team and other people out in the field.
Thank you, Nick, so much for opening your doors to me and my camera. It was great to visit you and the team. And as you noticed, we were both wearing, of course, hair nets, beard nets, because you can't get hair. It's a clean food facility, so we wanted to be super clean as we walk through the facility, as with all the facilities I went to on the road trip. As always, thank you for joining us here on Cultivated Live, which we distribute through LinkedIn and YouTube. Follow us and subscribe to us on those channels. If you don't already, get our newsletter at cultivated.news in your inbox every morning, sometime around 7 a.m. to get all the news that you need for today if you are a cannabis professional or follow the industry closely. That's it for today's Cultivated Live. Subscribe to our newsletter, follow us on LinkedIn, smash the subscribe button on YouTube. Be back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here on LinkedIn and YouTube. Remember, buy cannabis at your local dispensary and have a great and safe day, everybody.